All right, welcome back, everybody. You're watching the Now Morning Show right here on TTT. Now we're going to find out what is happening across in Tobago. Now, Tobago has not yet recorded any confirmed cases of the COVID-19 virus, but we do want to find out what they are prepared, how they are prepared to address it. And chatting with me this morning is the director of TEMA, Allan Stewart, and we're going to just ventilate this topic a little bit. Good morning.
Good morning, Gary, and good morning all of Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you for joining us this morning, and let's get into it. Tobago has not yet recorded any cases of the COVID-19 virus, but we are interested to know just how prepared TEMA is to address should there be any cases that happen in Tobago.
Now, one of the things that I've been saying, and sometimes I say it publicly, is that this is not our first rodeo. We have dealt with H1N1, we have dealt with Ebola. The preparations that went into those two events still lingers in terms of resources. So TEMA is quite prepared to make the necessaries that we may have in our possession, such as whatever infrastructure that is needed in terms of shelters. Well, when I say shelters, I'm referring to portable isolation tents, which may be more commonly known. But so those shelters will be made available on the call of the CMOH or that of the hospital. In addition to that, we have been paying particular attention to two areas of COVID-19. One is the virulence of the disease itself, and also looking at the epidemiology of corona disease. Now, coronavirus. Now, what is happening is that we understand that it may, in terms of the population that may be at greater risk, we understand that from that, when you look at the severity that it can impact those persons that are at greater risk. Apart from that, the indirect impact on the population is what TEMA, and even at the disaster management levels across the country, meaning ODPM and the DMUs, we are paying attention to that. What is the follow? The indirect impact, such as it relates to services. You can see the shutdown of schools, and what are the impact of these things? Persons who need to be taken care of in terms of the logistics of the rationing of foods and things like that. Key services such as water, electricity. These are some of the very broader issues. And of course, there are the ill ones that we are paying attention to, and the committee, which is comprised of a number of, it's a multi-sectoral approach where a number of key agencies coming out of the Tobago Disaster Management Committee standing by and alert to respond to this event.
Now, a big part of Tobago's Tobago's economy would be that of the hospitality and tourism industry, where, of course, a lot of people would be in contact with a number of other people as well. What type of communication is TEMA at this time, giving to the public as pertains to their contact with people who may come from countries that are affected with the COVID-19 virus?
Well, based on our plan going forward, communications, we have a existing hotline through 211. We also allow for the CMOH office, who is the tip of the spear in terms of the response. So that committee is really placed to allow for communications and ensuring that the right protocols takes place. There are facilities that have been earmarked that if you have a person or persons who may have been exposed, who may have been returnees, based on our protocols that nationals are allowed back into the country, then therefore the holding area where these persons can be isolated and contained until their test results go one way or the other. These are things that are in place, and we hope that those protocols hold firm, and what we establish as the procedures as to how we go about these steps are well taken as we go ahead, go forward.
All right. And final question before we close off, just to simplify it for our viewers as well. Say there was a confirmed case of coronavirus in Tobago right now. What is the next step that TEMA will take?
Well, one of the things that we will do, will immediately mobilize it's called upon by the CMOH office or the hospital. We will mobilize our portable isolation containment system. Wherever they ask that it be placed, we will have it placed there so that it could contain that person. We will provide the necessary communication links and the necessary support systems, more or less allow our systems or emergency operations center to go on partial activation almost immediately. So these are some of the steps that will be taken in the event that you have a case here in Tobago. And we will continue to make certain communication tools available to our first responders that we could have alerts and notification process follow up to allow the services to undertake their activities in a very professional manner.
All right, thank you very much for sharing. I was chatting with Allan Stewart, Director of TEMA.